Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Now, similar to the UI. If I tell you that you need to go to the marketing cloud and then you have to create one data extension, right? Then what are the things that you will require? First of all, nobody like that can log into marketing cloud, right? First of all, we need the credentials, we need the username and password, and then only then we'll be able to log in. Because the user and password has to be authenticated and it has to be, correct. And then these will be authorized. And then once you know they are authorized, and then you will get the access. Now, once you access the tool, then you will go to the email studio contact builder and then you will go to the data extensions. And then you click on the screen and everything right. The same thing. This is how we are interacting with the application. But we will talk about the external system. External system also has to tell something because external system does not have any press server to navigate or to move to the different disk. What happens is that we understand about the different resources. In case of API, what happens is it is like we create many resources and these resources are consumed by the external system. For example, each resource, if you talk about any organization, right? From a in terms of age, are you, our language, employees are the resources. Everything you know which are being utilized is a resource only. We have resources in our REST API and these resources are consumed by the external system. How they consume? Let's say they want to create a data extension. First of all, they'll have to use one resource in order to create that. And they will share these kind of things. I'll show you the connection, then you will understand better. But there are two things just to keep in mind. That one is that the authentication and the another one is the work that has to be done. First of all, we have to log in and then only we'll be able to do something. Similarly here also what we do, that we have an installed package. Let me see if we have the access to the installed package or not. We'll go to the setup. I think they have taken the permission to create the installed package. Otherwise, if you have the access, you will see the installed packages under the app section. This is where you are in the installed packages. What is the installed package? Installed package is nothing, but it is a complete package. It is a bundle of credentials. What we do, that if I want to create a user for someone, right? If I want somebody else to use my application, what I'll do? I'll go to the setup, I'll go to users and then I'll create the user for them. And this user will have the username and password right. Similarly, we go to the installed package and then we create one. Basically, we add one API component. Now this API component will contain this client and plan. We'll go to the installed package. We'll add the API component. We'll choose server to server and these two. And once this package is created, it will generate automatically client and client security. Now this client in client security, you can get to the username and password. Now marketing floor says that these are very, very confidential data and very high risk data. And it might happen that somebody might distinguish somebody if they get hold of client and client security. They might misuse because marketing floor is a very expensive tool and it is a paid tool, right? That is not free. We don't want that anybody to get this very different secret without our consent. What marketing floor does is that we have one more layer of the protection. We have one more layer of the security, which means that we have to send. If you've seen FA, right? Multi-factor authentication. How it works is that we have to, pass a login like username and password. And then one maybe token will be generated and then we have to use that token or maybe that, for TP. And then we will be able to log in. There is only one more step or one another step to access the application. Similarly, here we will pass a candidate and see it. Once we pass it, we will get one access token. We will understand this in the tool now. But we have to pass these two things when we get to the client snippet. And then what we get? We get one access token. Now that access token we are going to use whenever you want to access the tool. This access token, as the name says, we are going to access the application using this token. Hence the name is access token. Now this access token is only valid for 20 minutes. And we are going to use this to authorize API request. Whatever you want to do, if you want to get a data extension, if you want to run the automation, if you want to send an email, whatever you want to do, we have to use this access token that our request is authorized. And Marketing Cloud understands you are the authorized user only. You are the authorized application only. And then it is only valid for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, we get to the page. It's part and we have to generate a new token. It is 24-character long string. First of all, let's see. This is Postman tool. Obviously, we will have to go to the web Postman.com. It is a free web application. It basically helps you to make the API. This web application is called, API client. What is the meaning of API client? It's a web application using which we can make the API equals. Here we will see that how we can make the API equals. But you can sign up for this Postman using your Gmail ID or any other account as well. And then you will go to the My Workspace and then you can create your new request. We will come over here. And then what I have done is that I have created a new folder. Inside that folder, I have created this request. Similarly, you can come over here and click on Add Request. We are going to make one API like. First of all, what do we need to do? That whenever we create the installed package, we get this entire. This is Goldman Futilcom. It is called a REST URL or REST URL. And after that, we have results. One more thing that I wanted to say is, whenever we make the STP request, which means we are communicating with some server, we are selling this request to some server. Marketing tool says that instead of having one server to handle each and everything, let's have two different servers. We have one, and this is this URL will remain same and both part right. If you compare this Tilcom with this one, you will find everything will remain same. It is just that auth has been replaced by REST. What does it mean? That we have one server. Inside one server, let's say we have two different, directories. Or you can say two different servers. Where what we are doing is that we are sending the request. instead of, one server handling all the requests and being, overburdened. What we are doing is that we are bifurcating this entire process and all these requests in which we are generating the access token. All these requests will be given to this Worth Marketing Epicum. This is the entire URL that you will get when you create the package. After that, this is the resource that now you will have, go to that server. Now what you want to do? I want to generate the token. That is a path that we want to tell the system. That is what I want to do. Now, if I want to do something, if I want to generate the token, I have to pass some data. I have to pass client, edit client seconds. And then grant, I could always do client credentials. We are going to share this data. Now this data is called the payload. The data that we are sharing or that we are passing in order to get our work done. That data is called the payload. Technical data means payload in terms of the API, of course. And this is the HTTP post request. Because we are sending the data, we are not just receiving the data. Whenever we are sending the data, it is a post request. One thing that you need to make sure that it is a post. The URL is correct. Next thing, it should be body. And then we have to come to the road. And then we have to select the JSON here. If I will create a new tab, then we will understand the differences. Whenever we click on add request, we get a screen like this. We have to change it to the post. Add that URL, come to the body, make it row. And then here we make it JSON. And then you have to pass the colon over here. And then you can make the form JSON. Because here we are saying that we are passing the data in the form of a JSON. We understood what is the JSON format. It is a key value format. If you will see a text, then this data will be created as a text data. And then it will close the issue. Let's click on send button now. This is the access token that we have generated using the client and client signal that we went after getting the installed package. Now it will expire in 1080 seconds. That is around 20 minutes. And then whenever we create our user in our Marketing Cloud account, we have to assign some roles and permissions, right? We want to say that what all things that can be accessed by this user and what all things that this user cannot access. Otherwise, if we provide all the permission, that would be like really dangerous and risky. Same with the API. Whenever we create the installed package, we have to define that for this particular package, what all things that can be accessed if somebody uses these credentials. What all things are possible? Automations. We can execute automation, use automation, journals, lists and data extension, audiences, only these things, right? And we can send the email, we can write them in. All these things are possible. If you want to do something which is not part of the scope, then it will throw the error that you are not allowed or you don't have the required permissions in order to complete this task. And we are also getting this software and the rest of the one. All these rest are called. We are going to use this one for the source. For what we have done is that, and what we have understood is that the external application was to consume or was to interact with the Marketing Cloud application in order to get some work done, like sending an email, creating an extension, or maybe, to get us some information, something like that. For that, they don't have a UI. Marketing Cloud, what they have done is that they have created the API for that. We have two types of APIs, SOP and test API. In REST-based API, we have lots of resources and we are going to communicate with the server with the help of the URL. And then we have to pass the resource as a workplace to be done. And then what our information is required. We are going to share this in the form of a preload. Now, whenever we want to use the Rusty, what we need to do, that we need to authorize our request, that nobody just can send the request and get the work done. We have to authorize our request. In order to authorize it, we need the client that is in the secret, and this will give us the access token. And now we are going to use this access token to make any other API code. The next example that we're going to see is the triggered email set. It means we'll be looking at how we can send the email from Marketing Cloud account using the API. If you see, the first part here is the URL or the URL, the REST URL. It will remain same for all the REST API tools. Apart from that, we have this resource. It tells that what needs to be done. We need to start the trigger send definition. Basically, we have to send the email. Then this is the path that we need to send. Or if I'll give a better analogy, let's say you have your house and outside your house there's a security guard. Now you know experience, like the visitors can come to your house. And what do you have said to the security guard? That first of all you have to verify whether they are authorized or not by, looking at visiting card or whatever. It is right. Once they're authorized, what they can do? I mean, the permission that they have been given, they can only do those things. What you will do? I mean, let's say you are not home and you tell them that to go to my home and then it has, several rooms. You will have to go to that particular room and get me my phone. What you are doing, that this is the address or this is the path of your entire building inside that building. You are doing is that you are telling them go to this particular room and then you will have to get to the phone. Now, if you will use another source, this is the complete path, right? You are telling them the entire directory, the entire path. You have to go this way, this way, this way, and then you will find my home. Now we are using, let's say, another resource. This one here. What we are telling that go to this building or go to this server. After that, you will find the interaction. This is nothing but folder structure, right? Go to interaction, go to viewer, and there you will find events, and you will have to do something like this. Let's understand this now. And where do we find all these resources that I want to send an email? How do I know that this is the path that I need to pass? I'm going to share this. This is the complete list of all the things that can be done. For example, any friends in the chat. You see, these are all the different email messages. I mean, if you want to send me a message that we can make this request. That this is like the rest of the source will remain same. And this is the entire path, right? Let's say, if you want to do something else. Let's say, if you want to create the triggers and definition, right? If you want to create our email definition, then what we can do? Then we can call this message and we will email definitions. And then we have to pass this data in the form of payload. Now definition keys are required. Name is required. Customer is required. If you want to create our definition, then the other thing that we need to pass, and then example is also given over here. But this is the resource that we are going to use. This is the URL and the content type and everything. And this is the payload that you need to pass. In the payload, what we are passing is that you know what is the definition, description, classification. We will see this thing. What I want to say is that when you want to make the REST code, then you need to keep in mind two things. What is the REST one? And another thing, that is the resource that what you want to do. And based on that, you have to pass the information that you have to pass the payload. And then you have to work with the data. Now what we are going to see that how we can send an email using Marketing Cloud. In Marketing Cloud using the rest of the page. If you remember the email is we had skipped or we had possible 3 of the topics like triggered email send. That is something we are going to talk about today. Triggered emails. Triggered emails means that whenever any transaction is happening, what we want to do, we want to trigger the email to the customers. Let's say if there is any password reset and what we want to do, that we want to make this API call. And whenever this API call will be made, the email will be sent. For that we will have to create the one trigger send definition. We will click on this button wait. And then we can create the trigger send definition from trigger. In trigger send definition, what we need to do that we need to, provide the name and present classification. And then it is similar to the email activity. And then we have to choose the email, which email that we want to send. And then the email subject line, like it will be pre-populated. Pre-hatred will be pre-populated. And then we have to select the list. And then we have to select the trigger send date extension. This is important. I'll come back to this in a while. And then we have suppression risk, exclusion risk and everything. All the options. These are same. That we have already seen in the email activity in our Commissioner Studio. Once we have created this trigger, send definition, what will happen? That it will give us this key, this external key, right? It will be created like this. And what we need to do, with the help of the external key, we can trigger this definition. And whenever this definition will be triggered, what will happen? We have to find out that the email message that we have chosen over here, the email message that we have selected, that will be triggered to the customer on this email address. The email address that we are going to, pass to the API. To this email address, the email will be sent. And all things that are required to send the email that is pre-configured or that is already configured in this definition. Like we send a classification, from name and everything, the email message. And then the everything is already configured. What we need to do? We need to trigger this definition and we also need to we need to pass the email address to which we want to send this. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.